You're now listening to the Art of Reinvention show hosted by your boy TeflonJohn, where my goal is to change the world one person at a time by provoking thought. And you're now in the right place to receive motivation, inspiration, so you can make it throughout your day, so you can make it throughout your week. And so like I said, I just want you guys to sit back and just absorb all the content. And as I always say, one love, be blessed. Hey, what's up? It's your boy TeflonJohn coming to you courtesy of the I Am TeflonJohn brand. And today, whatever time you're listening to this, you are now tuned in to the Art of Reinvention podcast show, where my job is to change the world one person at a time by provoking thought. And I hope you all have been having a great week. I hope you all are having a great month, a great year. You know, we're 85 days away from Christmas. It's just a lot going on, man. I just want y'all to just sit back and just try to absorb and enjoy those good moments that you're having with your family. You know what I'm saying? I really want you guys to just, enjoy life in general, right? And so today, like I said, whatever time you're listening, whatever time you're choosing to consume this content, I just want to talk about focusing on your abilities and not your limitations. I'm going to say that again. Tonight, we're going to talk about focusing on your abilities and not your limitations. And what I simply mean by that is focus on what you can do. Don't focus on what you can't do. And just to tell you guys a little story, I know you heard it before. I actually hurt my back. Got a bulging disc, diagnosed with spinal stenosis years ago. Went through spinal injections. At the time, I was working out, personal trainer for years, and this kind of it's kind of altered my life, man. It really changed the way things are for me, and always in pain, sciatic nerve pain, and just at the point, man, where, you get frustrated with life and what you can't do. And I'm really back on this journey, man. I'm really back on this transformation journey to get back in shape and become the best version of myself physically that I can. But what happens is when I go to the gym, when I'm trying to work out, when I'm trying to do physical activities, I tend to focus on what I can't do versus what I can do, what I'm able to do, my abilities, right? I'm tending to focus more on my shortcomings. And what I want you guys to really take away from this is that so many times I've been to the gym and there are maybe 2 exercises that I can't do. But there could be 9 or 12 that I could do on that day with my present condition, right? But because I can't do those 2 exercises that I believe will kind of make me who I am, that I believe, exercises that I love to do, I often tend to just not go. I just rather sit at home than to not be able to be the person that I once was, or that I think that I'm capable of being. And what happens is I hinder myself from the gains I could get. I hinder myself from being healthy. I hinder myself from becoming stronger. I hinder myself from just striving to, like I said, be the best version of myself, right? And I thought about that at work today as I kind of wrestled with that mentally last week, just feeling, a little down. And I realized that there are many other exercises that I can do. There are many things that I can do, but it's up for me to partially accept or temporarily accept until I'm able to do, until I strengthen my back, till I get things right, that I must partially accept that I have to start with what I can do, right? I got to start with where I am. And that's the first point I want to make to you guys, is start with where you are. I don't care if it's a business. I don't care if it's a relationship. I don't care if it's a dream or goal. Start with where you are and start with what you have, right? Start with what you have. And many times, like I said, we tend to look at what we want, what we should have, the car, the house, whatever that we're trying to get. And we feel like if we don't have all these things, all these details in place, there is no need going after it. The same way that I felt going to the gym, that's how we feel when it comes to going after our goals and dreams in life. Is if everything is not lined up the way it is, if I don't look the way I want to be perceived by people, if I don't look the way I want to look on social media, then you know what? I'm not going to do it. And you're hindering that growth. You're hindering those gains in life that you could be making. I'm just saying, like, you're really hindering those lives. You're really hindering those gains that you could be making, because really, you're only holding yourself back, because this is temporary. Like me, the situation with my back is only temporary. You know what I'm saying? And so if I go back to the gym, if I continue to do what I can do now, start with where I am, then at one day I'm going to become strong enough to do those exercises that give me difficulty now. Right. And so I want to just make that point, man. Work with what you have. Like, continue to do what you got. If you're a creative or an influencer on social media, work with your phone. Work with the camera that you do have. If you don't have a DSLR, don't worry about that. Start with what you have, because if you start with what you have, you develop momentum, and you may be able to develop some income to get other items, right? If you're starting a business, start what you have. You may want this glorious office, but if you got to pull up a desk in your bedroom, then do so. If you want employees and everything, you got to work towards that. And so what I want to just encourage you guys is to, don't worry about what it looks like to other people. And that's point number 2. Don't worry about what it looks like to other people. And what I mean by it is your situation. So many times we make choices, not making the choice of what's best for us, or not making that choice of what's, for our greater good. We making choices to please other people. And to be honest with you, some people could really care less what we have going on or why we're doing what we're doing. Some people could really care less about you or me in general. But we're sitting back making crucial decisions in our lives about how someone's going to think, feel, or perceive us. And what I can tell you is, you have many millionaires that's walking this planet. You have many athletes, and they're all successful in their own right. And some people still do not like them. No matter what they do, they will never be able to please those people. And what I want you to realize is that no matter what you do, you're never going to be able to please everyone, right? If you want to be unhappy in life, please everyone but yourself. That's how you walk around and be unhappy in life. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes you got to ruffle feathers. But what I want you to know is, stop making decisions based upon how you think people are going to look at you. Because it's one thing to have the nice cars, one thing to have all this stuff in your house, and you're paying everything on credit, and you got Jordans or you got Air Maxes on, but you don't have a single dime in your savings account, and you can't afford to invest in yourself. That's foolish. That's foolish, because we live in a generation now where people would rather look the part than be the part. It's like we're getting brownie points just for trying. But people would rather look the part than actually be the part. And we got to get away from that, man. We got to actually get to where we're going to get it, where we're going to grind. And if you got to look ugly for a moment, don't worry about it. And point number 3 I want to make, sometimes you got to look ugly for a minute. And I did a Facebook Live video about it. And what I mean by looking ugly for a minute is sometimes you got to be a little bit shamed, because you may have to go without buying brand new clothes every week. You may have to go without buying that car that you really want for the greater good of your goal or your dream. And many times we sacrifice. We may have to sacrifice going out to eat. We may have to sacrifice, the little adventures that we go on, little trips and vacations to get where we want, where we can ultimately take vacations when we want. And I just want you guys to really know that when it comes to being ugly or looking ugly, right, you're taking care of your business. And I really want you to know that when it comes to looking ugly and being ugly, you're taking care of your business, because you're going without stuff that you would like to have for what you need. I'm going to say it again. You're going without stuff that you would like to have for what you need, right? And when we're on this journey about, and we're just talking about, focusing on your abilities versus your limitations, you have to change that mindset. That's going to be point number 4. You got to change your mindset, because so many times we look at what we could be doing, what other people are doing, and what we would like to do. But if that's not your skill, if that's not your forte, then hey, you got to give it up, because you'll end up, instead of doubling down on that one thing that you're good at, instead of focusing on that and becoming a beast and becoming a master, where you can generate income and bring other valuable assets in, you'll focus on something that you're not good at. So if you're not good at video editing, you're spending too much time into that to where you're not producing content. I'm gonna say it again. Stuff like video editing, audio editing, where if that's not your forte, you might have to outsource that and pay somebody. That way you can focus on what you're great at, which is producing great content. And so we all have limitations. We all have shortcomings, right? And one of our main limitations that we have is mindset. It's the mindset that we have, the mindset that we carry with us on a day-to-day basis. And some of this mindset is shaped by our experiences. Some of this mindset is shaped by our social network, the people that we hang around. Some of this mindset is shaped by our upbringing, our parents, how we what they instilled in us, what they, drilled in us or programmed us a way to think. So what I want you to know is if you feel different, if you feel like you're the minority around and you're the only one that can see the bright side or see the glass being half full, don't feel weird, because you have great perspective, and perspective can change everything. So if you look at what you call your limitation as a challenge to outsource, or, what you look at your abilities, and you got to look at that one day I'm a master of something where I have time to do other things. And what I want you guys to really take away from this is we all have limitations. We all have shortcomings. So it's up to you as an individual to really realize and to really know that there will be days where you won't be able to do what you want to do the way you used to do it or the way you want to do it. And it's up to you to know that you are not what you do, right? So when I hurt my back and I couldn't really train the way I wanted to, I couldn't really work out, couldn't work with clients, I started to feel depressed because I was identifying myself for what I did at the time, and that's work out and be a personal trainer and health coach. And the pain was so bad and throwing me off course to where I couldn't do that. And so I felt like, if I can't do that anymore, then who am I? Right? I'm going to say that one more time. I felt like if I couldn't do that anymore, then who am I? And so what I had to realize is personal training is what I did. It's not who I was, right? Working out, bodybuilding, you know what I'm saying? Getting healthy. It's not who I was. That's what I did. And once I realized that my true identity could be helping people even throughout my pain, my struggle. So it gives me a story to be able to tell other people. But what I want you guys to really take away from that is you are not what you do. You are who you are, which is a great person. You know what I'm saying? A lovely person, a beautiful person, a handsome person, inside and out. And you have to realize that for yourself. So many people suffer depression because they're good at one thing. They're good at, like I said, with their abilities. And so many people identify their existence with their abilities. And one day either accident happens, they get old, or life just happens and they don't have that ability anymore. Now they're lost with who am I? You see it with a lot of celebrities where people are like, man, how do these people make so much money and still manage to have suicidal thoughts? I mean, you never know what they're going through. Could you imagine being Michael Jackson or Chris Brown and most of the world identifies you with singing and dancing, and you feel like in your heart, well, you want to be more than that. You want to be more than just an entertainer. You want to be a person. You want to be a father, a sister, a brother, a mother. You know what I mean? And you have to realize that sometimes it's hard to come to grasp with, okay, if all this went away, if all this left, if my abilities left, you know what I'm saying, would they still love me? Would they still be there for me? And that's one thing that you guys have to realize is that your abilities are that, just your abilities, what you're able to do. But you have to be wanting, you have to be willing to actually do them. But don't confuse your abilities with your existence, right? Don't confuse your abilities with your existence. Now, your abilities could be connected to your purposes, helping people, bettering off the world, creating a better place. But 9 times out of 10, your abilities are only part of who you are. They're not who you are. They're a part, they're a facet of your life. And I don't want you to get in this depressed mode because you can't play football anymore, or you can't run your business anymore, or you can't sing anymore. I want you guys to really stand up and realize that you are a beautiful person. Somebody loves you for who you are, even if you couldn't do anything, even if you didn't bring in another dollar. And if you're around people that make you feel that if anything happened to your ability or your talent, that they will be gone, you shouldn't be around them anyway. You shouldn't need anybody to validate you. And that's what I think that part of the injury that I had to grasp was everybody, used to kind of identify me during this time as the trainer, the healthy guy. the dude is big or whatever. And, when I hurt my back and as I lost muscle, I kept hearing how small I was getting. John, you getting small and this and that. And it really wore on me, man. And then I had to really realize that, this is not who I am. This is just what I do. And once you set your mind up for that, it's easy not to focus on your limitations, because you realize that those limitations are just a facet of your life. They're just an option. If I want to work towards them, I can. If not, then I don't have to worry about it. But I want you guys to really take that in, to focus on your abilities and not your limitations, right? Now, I'm not going to be before you long. That's just a short episode of the Art of Reinvention podcast show. So I just thank you guys for tuning in. I really want you to share this episode across all your social media platforms. Share this episode with somebody who really needs to hear it. Right now on my YouTube channel, The Art of Reinvention, I have a couple of new episodes of the Art of Reinvention talk show. You can catch that, and there'll be new episodes coming. But like I said, let me know in the comments. Please leave a comment on this podcast if it helped you. And like I said, guys, I just want you guys to continue to support me. I thank you guys. I love you guys. Continue to pray for all my followers. And as I always say, one love, be blessed. We would like to thank you for listening to this episode of The Art of Reinvention by TeflonJohn. And we encourage you to share this episode across all your social media platforms. And we also encourage you to visit our website at www.imteflonjohn.com and follow us on all our social media platforms at facebook.com/realteflonjohn, twitter.com/realteflonjohn, and instagram.com/realteflonjohn. And while you're on Facebook, go ahead and like our page so you can receive first-hand notifications every time we go live with the motivational video or any motivational content. And as I always say, one love, be blessed.